Our next awardee is for Kinship Champion, and that is Greg Olsen. Greg Olsen is the Acting Director of the New York State Office for the Aging. He is responsible for the administration of federal and state-funded programs that assist more than 4.3 million older adults and 4 million informal caregivers across New York State. Greg is leading the effort to rebrand what aging in New York looks like. Some of his key accomplishments over more than 2 decades in the field of aging include starting Livable New York in 2005, the precursor to age-friendly communities, helping New York State receive AARP WHO designation as the first age-friendly state in 2017, implementing a grant program to expand age-friendly communities across the state, developing a business acumen project to help the Aging Services Network partner with health systems to expand access to home and community services, leading New York State in the expansion of enhanced multidisciplinary teams to address elder abuse and neglect. Greg was the executive director of the New York State Alliance for Retired Americans, a union-supported organization representing hundreds of thousands of union retirees. Greg has been a strong supporter of kinship care since 2005. Prior to joining NYSOFA, Greg served as Chief of Staff and Legislative and Policy Director for Assemblyman Steve Engelbright, former chair of the Assembly Standing Committee on Aging. He led the effort to introduce legislation that funded the New York State Kinship Navigator and worked with the New York State Senate to create the program in 2005. At the Office for the Aging, he has helped to produce informational videos on kinship care services and legal issues, urged local area offices for the aging to support kinship care, leading statewide efforts in the aging community. He has supported inclusion of kinship care aging issues in the 2015 White House Conference on the Aging, has promoted kinship care by organizing a statewide information campaign for the aging community, and constantly brought kinship issues to the attention of the federal policymakers. Jerry mentioned Greg at the beginning of today's webinar, and we are very proud to give Greg the Kinship Champion CURA Award this year. Greg, I am passing the ball to you.
Great, thanks, Ryan. Can you hear me?
We can, thank you.
Outstanding. Well, first, I just want to congratulate you for this amazing program today, and I couldn't be more honored and humbled to be with everybody. And I want to, first of all, congratulate the other honorees, Sharon, Kim, and Carolyn. Dr. Crumbly did an amazing job. As I mentioned, it really is an honor to be thought of, to even get an award. That's not something I'm personally comfortable with, as there are so many people over the course of our lifetimes and work that do so many things to, make people like me look good. So in accepting this award, I will do that on behalf of everybody who is listening and all of those people across New York State that work day in and day out to help children, to help families, provide support, and connect the dots. I really want to most importantly thank KinCare families. What I like most about these programs over the years is to hear about the selflessness, the inspirational stories, the dedication, knowing that people are often thwarted into this, that it's not easy, the emotional, social, economic strain, the family dysfunctions that we heard about, but they do it anyway because we support our communities, our families, and are filled with a lot of love, frankly. Jerry had mentioned a little bit about the history, and I want to build upon that just for a second to give you guys all a complete context. In a variety of positions that I've served, I've always taken the moniker, and I think this is a lesson to all of us, how important your voices are. But when you're in a position to identify a need or be told about something that needs to be done and you don't do it, shame on you. So we talked about 2005. I was approached by Jerry, and one of the names that I hadn't heard yet is Fran Weisberg out from Rochester, that talked to me as the chief policymaker for Assemblyman Engelbright about this issue. KinCare families, grandparents taking care of grandkids, showed me the statistics, showed me the cost, showed me the outcomes. And that day was launched the idea to develop the Navigator program and to finance this program, which now is embedded within OCFS. I worked with my counterpart, Bob Hers, in Senator Golden's office, but it was our office in the Assembly that passed the legislation. And Fran worked very, very hard in the Senate, and I did in the Assembly to get the funding to begin this program. And so I want to just give a shout out to the two of them. I want to thank CFC for agreeing to embed this program within their framework and organization. It's been the right fit. And based on, Jerry's, commitment to this, and the fact that we went from basically a one-person operation back then to 7 people today with Ray, Ryan, Carrie, Brenda, Anthony, and Heather, shows that when you keep pushing a boulder up the hill for all the right reasons, with data, metrics, with compassion, that you can continue to do good things. And that doesn't by any stretch of the imagination mean that we're done, but taking a step back to look at some of those accomplishments, I think, are really important. I want to thank our NYSOFA staff, my staff, who when I came to the State Office for the Aging, brought this issue with me. And it was something that was embraced immediately by our staff, and we continue to work very hard with our county partners, with Jerry and his staff, to do those things where that you read in terms of our accomplishments, making sure that we were trained, making sure that we could help identify and support grandparent caregivers, that we didn't have to be experts in all the crazy laws, rules, and regulations across all of these systems, but that we could work together for the best outcomes of families. I want to switch over to Jerry now briefly, and then I will close. What I'm proud about being a New Yorker, and I think, a lot of times when we go through storms and disasters, and certainly COVID, the best in New York always seems to come out. And in New York, we're doers. There's no question about that. As I mentioned, we identify issues and we work vigorously to try to solve them. And it's not always easy to do. As I mentioned, it's great to see the growth and increased support. I consider Jerry a personal friend as well as a professional dynamo. I met him long before he was involved in this issue, liked him immediately, and again, consider him a friend. In announcing that he's going to be stepping down, we lose a stalwart in this field, somebody who has exceptional commitment and passion and dedication, and is just a real solid, good human being. And so he is correct in saying that what he's helped to build, with many of the names he mentioned earlier, with all of you and all of your support, not only within New York State, but across the country, to put this issue on the map and keep plugging along. He leaves this legacy in great hands. And we really owe it to Jerry to keep the fight up and to keep pushing hard for as long as we can. So I would like to suggest on this last sentence of mine that the CURA committee add a 5th award next year, the 1st annual Gerald Wallace Award, for a candidate who exemplifies courage, commitment, passion, and unwavering advocacy in support of KinCare families. I want to thank you, Jerry, and your staff for all that you've done. And I always appreciate being part of this, and that you think highly enough of me and my commitment to this to humble me today with such a great award, which I will accept on behalf of everybody that I mentioned.